You're watching Masters in Trading Live with Jonathan Rose.
Hey everybody, it's Jonathan Rose and welcome to Masters in Trading Live. At Masters in Trading Live, I get on here every day the market's open, 11 a.m. Eastern Time, go over the market, share some thoughts, and once in a while we'll even share our trade of the day. We are live on mastersintrading.com/live. We're also live on YouTube. I got my YouTube chat up. Got a bunch of people in the chat saying good morning. We usually open the chat about 10 minutes before the opening. Check in with everybody, see how everybody is doing. Topics for today. I want to talk about gold. Gold is moving. Gold was phenomenal rally, pretty healthy pullback. Let's talk about gold. I want to talk about something called skew. We talk about skew often. Skew, it's just the difference in pricing between the calls and the puts. Oftentimes, when traders learn about skew, it helps give them edge to see how the market prices risk. If a stock is trading at 100 and the 105 calls are 3 times the price of the 95 calls, the market is actually pricing that stock to go higher. I also want to talk about crypto. Now, as someone who presents, I'm an educator. I founded Masters of Trading back in 2015. In 2015, you know how much I knew about blockchain? Bupkis, zero. A little bit less than zero. But knowing that I present every day, also the biggest pet peeve for me in the world is people presenting on things that they're not educated, that they don't know shit about. So I do teach about blockchain. I'm going to share with you my 5 favorite books that shapes pretty much everything that I know about crypto, blockchain, Ethereum. I'm going to share that as well. Let's get into it. Here we go. The first thing I want to touch on, and we had a little back and forth about this in our YouTube chat. Here is the QQQ weekly. For our membership, we were long, short-term calls that expire on Friday in the QQQ. But weekly, this week, when we opened and took out last week's high, 514.92. When we opened on Monday, we took out last week's high and now we're under last week's high. I sent an alert to my community, get out of the pool. We don't want to be long QQQs for the rest of this week. Now, people are asking if they didn't get filled. Do the Qs have a chance of rallying? Yeah, they absolutely do. The Qs might rally, but I want to be disciplined. And part of that discipline is when the weekly high from last week is taken out on Monday, and then we trade under, regardless of what we do for the rest of the week, I'm going to cover the trade. Now, for those that are still in the trade, it might rally. Go back and follow. If you want to hold the trade, follow the VIXs. VIX 1 day is offered. VIX 9 days still offered, trading 14. I'd rather be long than short, but I don't want to be long risk. I don't want to have that active trade. I just want to explain to you why we covered the trade. Sometimes you just wait around for another trade, and that's what we did here. So I'm not sure if we're going to rally or if we're not going to rally. The reason that I covered is because I don't have the conviction of the rally that I did when we originally shared that trade. Hope it makes sense. It's a very, very important topic. Let's talk about skew. Let me get my pen here. When we talk about skew, S-K-E-W. So important, guys. Option traders learn about skew. Skew is just going to tell us, are the calls more expensive? Are the puts more expensive? That's it. Okay, so skew ratio is looking at the out of the money calls versus the out of the money puts. Right here, if you go CME and you search CVOL, that's where this page is. Now, the reason that I'm showing you this is right now, we are down here. Okay, we are really, really low. When the skew ratio is high, calls are priced a lot more expensive than puts. When it's low, puts start to be more expensive than calls. What I want to do with this information is I want to know what happens to the market. What happens to the market? What does gold do when the skew gets real low like it is, or like when the skew gets real low like it has been? Here's a gold chart. These are just 3 and 4 standard deviation bands on a 21-day implied volatility. And when we get out of the 4 standard deviation bands and get back in, we'll get a sell signal. Occasionally, we'll get a buy signal. Well, what happened when that skew got real low? September 28th is going to be right here. September 28th, gold was trading 1,600, and it took about 3 months for it to rally up to 2,000. If I go back here, July 5th, 2022, July 5th, 2022 is going to be kind of, I think it's actually like right here, kind of in no man's land. And that really doesn't do very much. I mean, certainly lower than it is right now at 1700s. But now that this is working all the way back down, are we waiting for an entry point to get into gold? I wouldn't be surprised, but I think that this skew ratio can go a little bit lower before gold starts to bounce. So we're watching gold. I am not coming out with a gold trade right now, but we are getting close to getting a long trade in gold. Books. I'm a reader of books. I think I've said this before. I think I average maybe a book a week or definitely a book and a half a week. I like to run. I like to hike and walk. And whenever I do those things, I'm always listening to audiobooks. That helps me get through books pretty quickly. I also listen to books on 1.25. I also have a 100-pound dog that needs to be walked constantly. So that's the way I'm able to get through a lot of books. So again, I think I said this, well, I did say this in the beginning. As an educator, I'm not going to get on here and talk about something that I can't help you. Too many people across the internet do that. So it was a big just importance of mine to do the homework and to do the research. And then if I learn something that I can share, then you guys can benefit from that. So here it is, guys. My top 5 crypto books. Number 1 is going to be a book called Snow Crash. Snow Crash was written in 1992. I'm going to read this, guys. Maybe this is going to be a little bit long. That's okay. This novel is set in the dystopian future where the United States is fragmented and most government functions are managed by private corporations. This world is characterized by burbclaves, autonomous corporate-run communities. This was the first mention of the word metaverse in 1992. This story follows hero protagonist, a pizza delivery driver, both a highly addictive drug and a computer virus. This book is out there, but without a doubt, Meta took its name from Snow Crash. This was the first book ever to mention metaverse. When you see the fire coming out of the eyes when everyone's got that meme. That is from this book. Everything is stolen from this book. Excellent book. Oh man, this is a good one. American Kingpin tells the riveting story of Russ Ulbricht. Trump says that he's going to pardon Russ Ulbricht when he gets into office. We'll see if that happens. This book details how Ulbricht, driven by his libertarian ideals, created the Silk Road. It explores Ulbricht's transformation from a programmer to the Dread Pirate Roberts. Their narrative follows a 2-year manhunt. This book is awesome. And there's a lot of information out there about Russ Ulbricht and about how awful it is that this guy's in jail. Read this book. This dude belongs in jail. I don't know if he belongs in jail for life, but this is a bad dude, in my strong opinion. Cryptopians. This was a book that I bought for our coaching clients. I called Laura Shin after reading the book and I loved it. So I ordered 50 copies for our traders. I think it was back in 2021 or 2020. It's a beautiful book that talks about Ethereum's history. It gives you a really, really good sense into the man who created Ethereum and why he created. A significant portion of this book is dedicated to the DAO hack, which is a monumental event. That's the hack is worth like $200 billion now. So really, really just awesome book, phenomenal. And Laura sent us 50 copies for our coaching group at that time. Another one, Digital Gold, Bitcoin and the inside story of the misfits millionaires trying to reinvent money. So just like Cryptopians is more about Ethereum, Digital Gold and this next one are going to be more about Bitcoin. Really, really good. Not a difficult read at all. Digital Gold, and then the next one, The Infinite Machine. So The Infinite Machine tells a fascinating story of Ethereum's creation back in 2013. Again, this guy is just unbelievable. 19-year-old, really, really fantastic. Decentralized autonomous organizations. These are going to be the LLCs of the future. So there you have it. Again, in order to build up my knowledge, so I felt comfortable presenting and teaching in front of all of you, these are the 5 books that I read. This is a great just historical fiction, but it's awesome. Learn about this. This is going to be a big topic for the next 6 months as Trump talks about potentially pardoning this fella. You have the Cryptopians about ETH. Infinite Machine is actually more about ETH, and Digital Gold about Bitcoin. Really, really good reads. And also, think about it this way, guys. You're risking your hard-earned money. You need to understand what the heck these protocols are. There's so many different protocols. There's so many different ways to invest. Read, learn, educate yourself. If you guys have any other questions, guys, you can always throw them in the YouTube chat. All right? Awesome. Yeah, and just keep it. I like crypto too. I just want to educate myself. There's nothing worse than investing in something that you don't understand because you got no love for it. You're just gambling. You're just following somebody else. So read a book. Give yourself some foundation. I think you'll really thank yourself for doing that. All right, guys, everybody in All Access, you guys hang on. We'll be right back.